Everyone seems ahead of you. Further, faster, more certain. You scroll for a few minutes, and somehow your entire life feels delayed. They are moving cities, launching projects, celebrating milestones, and you are still figuring things out. So your brain draws a quiet conclusion. You must be late. You must have missed something. You must be falling behind. But what if no one is actually ahead? What if you are comparing your unfiltered reality to everyone else's carefully selected moments? Keep watching the way your mind reacts when you scroll. It is not random. You open an app for a few seconds, and your brain does a full audit of your life in the background. Not with facts, with impressions. A friend is in a new apartment with clean white walls and perfect light. Someone is engaged. Someone is locked in. Someone is traveling on a Tuesday. You do not see their boring hours, their doubts, their quiet losses, their unfinished plans. You see a single frame that looks like proof, and the discomfort is specific. It is not simple jealousy. It is the sense that the timeline is leaving without you, that everybody received a memo about how adulthood works, and you missed it. The strangest part is how quickly it happens. You can feel fine in your own day, then 1 minute later you are behind. Not behind one person, behind the whole world. That feeling is so common that people treat it like background noise. They call it comparison. They call it insecurity. They call it being too online. But the real problem is sharper. Your brain is trying to measure your life using a dataset that was never meant to be used as reality. You do not compare your full life to someone else's full life. You compare your Tuesday afternoon to their best 4 seconds. Now notice how your mind chooses the evidence. You do not scroll through posts and think, this is a curated selection of positive moments. You know that sentence. You can repeat it, but your nervous system does not process it like a warning label. It processes the image like an environment, like a room you are standing in, like a social group you are entering late. You see a photo of a friend with a group at dinner. You were not invited. The mind does not register the likely truth. Schedules did not match. Somebody planned last minute. Seats were limited. People rotate through circles. The mind registers a simpler conclusion. They are together, you are not. Then it pulls a second conclusion. Together means valued. You see a coworker post. Promotion season. You do not think about internal budgets, timing, office politics, uneven job titles, or the fact that some promotions are lateral moves with a new label. Your brain translates it into a single ranking signal. Up. You see a couple smiling in perfect vacation light. Your mind does not calculate credit card debt, tension off camera, or the reality that travel can be used as a bandage. Your brain reads it as stability. You see someone's body looking effortless. You do not see the years, the lighting, the angles, the hunger, the genetics, the editing, or the fact that a photo is not a metabolism. You read it as discipline. Then you look at your own life. You look at the part you are currently living, the emails, the laundry, the half-finished plan, the quiet day that does not photograph well. You compare your unfiltered present to someone else's filtered highlight. And your mind does something brutal and efficient. It does not conclude, they posted their best moment. It concludes, that is their life. This is why the feeling does not go away just because you understand social media is curated. The problem is not ignorance. The problem is how the human brain learns status. Social comparison is not a bad habit you picked up from the internet. It is a built-in tracking system. In everyday life, it helped people read their place in a group. Who is respected? Who is excluded? Who is safe? Who is at risk? The modern feed hijacks that system. It turns a private ranking instinct into a constant silent scoreboard. And here is the open loop most people miss. You are not comparing because you are vain. You are comparing because your brain is trying to reduce uncertainty. It wants to know, Am I doing life correctly? The feed looks like an answer key, but it is not an answer key. It is a highlight montage. So the mind tries harder. It checks more often. It scans more faces. It collects more proof. And each new post feels like a small update on the world's status map. Mechanism layer 1 is simple and ruthless. Your brain treats visible outcomes as if they were total outcomes. A visible outcome is a finished degree, a ring, a new house, a before and after body, a job title, a group photo, a passport stamp, a clean morning routine. These are outcomes that compress a messy process into a clean symbol. Symbols are easy to compare. They are designed to be compared. Your brain cannot see someone's internal life, so it uses external markers as substitutes. It is not trying to be unfair. It is trying to be efficient. Efficiency is the issue. Because once outcomes become your main measurement tool, you lose track of the hidden variables that actually build a life. Consistency, support, timing, health, temperament, opportunity, family pressure, private trade-offs, quiet skills, invisible stress, and long stretches of nothing happening. You cannot compare hidden variables through a screen. So you compare symbols. Then you start managing your own life as symbols. You do something, and before you even finish it, a second voice asks, would this look like progress? You take a trip, and part of your mind is already arranging how it will be shown. You start a hobby, and it becomes a performance faster than it becomes joy. The feed does not just show you other people's highlights. It trains you to convert your own life into highlights too. That is the first trap. But if that were the whole story, the solution would be obvious. Stop scrolling, stop comparing, focus on yourself. People say this and still feel the same. Because the deeper layer is not the feed. It is what the feed promises. Here is the turning point. Hold still for a second. That tight feeling is not proof that you are failing. It is proof that you are being measured. Not by people, by a system that turns attention into a marketplace. And the measurement is escalating every day. Mechanism layer 2 is that the highlight reel does not just distort reality. It changes what normal feels like. In older life rhythms, you saw other people's lives in fragments. You caught up occasionally. You heard news delayed. You saw friends on weekends. You saw neighbors in regular clothes. You watched someone's progress over months or years. The brain had space between comparison moments. Space is protective. Now you witness constant peaks. Even if each individual post is honest, the stream is not. A stream of peaks creates the illusion that everyone lives at their peak. Your brain adapts to the stream as if it is the environment. It adjusts your baseline upward. This is where the everyone is ahead feeling becomes persistent. You are not reacting to one person doing well. You are reacting to an artificially concentrated world where winning is always visible. And your mind responds the way it always responds to an environment that seems crowded with success. It accelerates. You rush your timeline. You treat rest like laziness. You treat slow progress like failure. You interpret quiet seasons as being left behind. You stop trusting any growth that cannot be demonstrated. Then common attempts to fix it backfire. You try to catch up by stacking goals, but the list never finishes because the baseline keeps moving. You try to improve your self-esteem with achievements, but achievements become fuel for the same comparison engine. Now you need the next proof. You try to post your own highlights to feel equal. But then you live inside your own audience, checking reactions like they are a vital sign. Even when you win, it does not land, because the system is not designed to deliver enough. That is not a moral claim, it is a psychological one. A feed is an endless presentation of options. Better bodies, better mornings, better relationships, better homes, better careers, better personalities. In a world of endless options, satisfaction becomes unstable. The moment you choose one path, The feed shows you the paths you did not choose, packaged as success. Your brain reads those as losses. This is how FOMO becomes a daily mood, not a special event. It is not just fear of missing a party, it is fear of choosing a life and seeing, non-stop, the lives you did not pick. Now, zoom out. The highlight reel hits harder in modern everyday life because so much is already abstract. Work often lacks clear endings. Many jobs produce invisible results. You do tasks, you close tabs, you answer messages, and you cannot point to a finished object at the end of the day. Progress becomes hard to feel. Community is often looser. People move. Friend groups shift. Relationships happen through texting, which removes tone and context. Belonging becomes hard to measure. Even adulthood milestones are less synchronized. Some people marry early. Some never marry. Some have kids, some do not. Some buy homes, some rent, some move constantly. The old shared timeline is weaker. In that uncertainty, the highlight reel offers a false clarity. It gives you a simple story. Progress is visible, happiness is visible, success is visible. So, when your real life is quiet or complex, it feels like an error. But it is not an error. Quiet is what most real progress looks like. Here is the final reframe. The reason everyone seems ahead is not that they are ahead. It is that the only parts you can easily see are the parts that look like ahead. The feed does not show ahead. It shows signal. It shows what can be compressed into an image, a caption, a number, a title, a reveal. That is why it feels like proof. It is engineered to feel like proof. Meanwhile, your life contains the most important material in forms. The feed cannot capture, decisions made privately, boundaries held, skills built slowly, relationships maintained through boring loyalty, health protected through unglamorous routines, self-control practiced in moments nobody applauds. Those are not highlights. They are foundations. The highlight reel makes foundations feel like nothing. And that is the psychological trick. It convinces you that what cannot be displayed does not count. Controlled closing. When you notice that everyone is ahead feeling, treat it like a reading on an instrument, not a verdict. It is your brain reacting to concentrated signals. It is your status tracking system doing its job in an environment that overloads it. The most revealing question is not, why am I behind? It is, what kind of evidence is my mind using right now? Because the moment you see the measurement, you see the distortion. And once you see the distortion, the highlight reel stops looking like a timeline. It starts looking like what it is, selected moments, optimized for visibility, passing through your mind like a test you were never meant to take.